Hey, I'm Nate Bargatze. I'm excited to bring you some of the funniest comedians you haven't met yet, but that's about to change. We filmed this live in Nashville, Tennessee, and yes, everyone promised to behave. This is the Nateland Showcase.
How's everyone doing emotionally? I'm okay. I had a weird Uber ride 2 weeks ago, and I'm still thinking about it. Here's a question. Have you guys ever gotten in an Uber ride and the Uber driver wants to tell you way too much about what's going on in their life? Okay, yeah, good. This happened to me in Minneapolis 2 weeks ago. I got in the car and I noticed the driver had a sleeping bag, some toiletries, and some food in his back trunk area. Before I could say anything, he cut me off and he was like, "Hey man, sorry about that. My wife and I are going through something. I've been living in my car for the last 3 weeks." What do you say to that? Well, this is what I did say. "Well, sir, you have a lovely home." So that's... Yeah, I've been traveling a lot for comedy recently over the last year. I took my first Greyhound bus ride. Has anyone done that recently? Good. What a crowd on that thing, huh? Here's the thing. This is the best way I could describe Greyhound bus riders. They do it because they can't fly. Not because they can't afford to, but because the government told them they can't fly anymore. Yeah, I was halfway between Iowa and Minnesota. I was like, I would have rather ridden a horse down there, if I'm being honest. Because at least the horse won't be on speakerphone for 3 hours straight. Like my seatmate was. I told my dad that story, and he told me I should be more thankful, because like he grew up differently. And he's also just a lot different than I am. My dad is 6'5". Thank you. That's my number one fan right there. My dad is 6'5" and my mom is blonde, so I'm adopted. I am super adopted. I'm adopted from the Philippines. It's a lovely Asian country. If you've never been, just know that our top 2 exports are rice and marriages with members of the U.S. Navy. So I'm pro-America up here. I love my family very much. They raised me well. They raised me to be Christian. I am one today. But as a teenager, I was also really into like hard rock, grunge, and emo music. So as a teenager, I went to Christian, emo, grunge, and hard rock concerts. Yeah, if you've never been, just know that it's an audience full of dudes who are mad at their dad, but not the father. So it's... I'm not originally from Nashville. My parents, I'm from Fargo, North Dakota originally. Yeah, when I told my dad I was gonna move down to Nashville, the first question he asked me was, "Are you pursuing country music?" I was like, "Yes, your Filipino son." Who dresses like the bouncer of a Panda Express. Is the next country music star. With his number 1 hit, I've Got Friends in Row Praces. I told that joke in San Francisco last week, and they didn't laugh. No, I moved down here with my wife. My wife is amazing, and we love Tennessee. You know, it's different from North Dakota. Like, golf is really big down here in Tennessee. Yeah, like I was driving back home from therapy because I do this, and I saw a guy. It was torrential rain, like it was pouring down, and I just saw one guy lonely just putting away on the green. And all I could think is like, wow, that guy hates his family. Okay, there's a lot of golfers in here. Let's switch it up a little bit. I love my wife very much. She's also a stand-up comedian, but my wife, she's got her quirks though. Like she is a movie talker, which means she will ask questions about movies we have never seen before during the movie. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, you are that person. We saw the most recent Avengers movie, and halfway through she was like, what's going on? What's going to happen next? Like, how do you think this is going to end? I'm like, I don't know, Paula. I've seen just as much of this movie as you have. And then afterwards, she'll be like, what did you think? I'm like, what do I think? I think you owe me $16. And this is what I do now, though. Like, when she tells me she's going to go watch or see a new movie she's never seen before, I will spoil the ending for her. But I don't give her the right information. Like, my wife's been getting into older movies recently, and she told me she's going to watch Shawshank Redemption. It's a great movie, you know? It's an Oscar award winning. And, like, if you haven't seen it before, it's about a guy who goes to prison for killing his wife, but he didn't actually do it. And when she told me she's going to watch this with her friends, I'm like, you don't want to do that, Paula. She's like, why not? I'm like, because you find out the main character killed his wife the whole entire movie. And I do this with all sorts of movies. Like, ma'am, name a movie, any movie. I could probably figure something out. Can I tell you guys just something? This is my wife next to the stage. All right. Well, you haven't seen Shrek before? You don't want to, because you find out the main character killed his wife the whole entire movie. It's very, very, very tragic. So, no. My wife and I, we moved down here from North Dakota. It's very cheap. It's more expensive in Nashville, so we do have day jobs. My wife is a dental assistant, and I am an engineer. I help with the electrical grid and fiber needs of all of Tennessee. And people, like comedians more specifically, will hear that, and they'll be like, so why do you do comedy? Like, you have a financially stable job. Like, it must be good. And I'll be like, I never said I was a good engineer. Yeah. Because I have this hard balance. I want to be the funny guy at the office, you know? And, like, that's a hard balance. Like, at my last job, like, my boss pulled me into a conference room. He's like, John, I just wish sometimes you valued this relationship between you and I the same way you valued the relationship between you and your wife. So I kissed him, and and then he fired me. I will admit, though, there are jobs that you should probably not be the funny guy at. Like, I feel like airline pilot, no jokes. But I would love to, because, like, every time I'd land the plane, I would just open the cockpit door and be like, oof, that was close. Yeah. I could probably work for Spirit Airlines, now that I think about it, and it's a good time. No, my wife is super supportive of my comedy and vice versa. She was also supportive of something I did before I got into comedy. I'd love to show you guys right now, if that's okay. Once again, I am married, and Sorry, ladies. And before I got into stand-up, I was a world-class yo-yo competitor. And I'm actually the youngest American who ever won the World Yo-Yo Championships. I was 11 years old when I did that, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Thank you. If you're wondering what a World Yo-Yo Championship gets you, you're watching it right now. It's very interesting. So, no, I love the yo-yo very much, and I make jokes, but I still do yo-yo shows today because it's like a big part of my life, you know? Like, I've been doing a lot of elderly homes recently, which is, like, I don't mean to brag, but I'm big in Florida, and it's a good time. That's a real thing. I got hired 3 years ago to go down to Naples, Florida, and they wanted me to do just comedy, but I was bombing for like the first 10 minutes, but I brought my yo-yo. And I like was up there and was like, hey guys, you remember Rock the Baby, Rock the Cradle? What if I just started doing some crazy stuff like this? And then an elderly gentleman who wouldn't laugh the whole entire show, he stood up and he was like, that's what I'm talking about. I'll end on this, guys. You guys have been a wonderful, crowd and everything. Like, this is my dream, like, Nate Bargatze is the reason I moved down here from North Dakota. So let's give him a round of applause. Thank you so much. So I've been yo-yoing for 27 years, and a lot of people will ask that question. You must have a lot of yo-yos then. I'm like, yeah, I do. He's like, how many do you have? I didn't know how to answer that question about 2 years ago, and then I did a count, and I had 685 yo-yos in my yo-yo collection. If you're wondering how that happens, when you win a yo-yo contest, you don't win money, you win more yo-yos. Yeah. But my wife and I, we've been doing this really cool thing lately. We've been selling them off over the last couple of years because in a year and a half, we want to adopt our first child, which is very, very cool. Yes. Thank you. We adopt 4 children. And we adopt from the Tennessee foster care system. We want to adopt from Africa, Central America, as well as Eastern Europe. And, that's really great. But that, as a comedian, that got me like thinking from an outside perspective. Because one day when my children are all grown up, we'll have, an African American in the family, from someone from Central America, a Filipino, their mother. Basically, one day our family portrait will be a college brochure. Like we send it to you as a Christmas card, and you're like, I would go there. That's all right. Thank you so much, guys. I was John Datoy. This was a dream come true.